Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the recap and review of NCIS Season 13, Episode 9, otherwise known as the pre-Thanksgiving episode. So the opening is basically this guy that's said to be not guilty of murder, but everyone else believes he's guilty, including his pregnant wife. No death, but still a rather painful opening. After the credits, we find out that Tony's still with Zoe, apparently. I guess when they said they were going through a rough patch, I assumed that it was essentially over, because all other rough patches on this show have gone so well. But hey, good for him, good for them. I'm assuming Tony bought a larger bed, or so he just sleeps on the floor. McGee reveals that one of his former girlfriends had a fear of being tickled with feathers, and Tony puts it together that the girlfriend he's talking about was Abby. They dated once. So now I'll just be waiting on the edge of my seat this entire episode for this horrifyingly awkward scene to come up, I'm sure. Gibbs, once again, just keeps attracting the ladies. And he meets up with Kyle's lawyer, who was the one who was just declared not guilty. Gibbs is like, yeah, when the knee hurts, I ice it. When the heart stops, I just drink bourbon and hope for the best. Everyone just keeps assuming he's guilty, so Kyle wants to be court-martialed in order to tell his side of his story and get his wife and child back. McGee and DiNozzo head to Baltimore, where DiNozzo is quite the legend. He was also temporarily part of a nudist colony. So, where's the flashback episode of that? One of the cops and a state attorney named Alan Weiner say that NCIS has the full cooperation of the department. Finally, 10 minutes in, we witness the real crime this episode, the murder of Jake and Bishop's marriage. They discuss how Bishop's career has changed their marriage and how they need to work on spending more time together. It was nice to see a scene between Bishop and Jake face to face. Bishop and Gibbs go to meet with the guy's wife named Hannah, and Gibbs is kind of helping him put together the crib, which is sweet, actually. But then Kyle shows up and Gibbs is like, "You are not helping. At all." Bishop shows up to surprise Jake at a restaurant and sees that he's with another woman. Awesome. DiNozzo pays a visit to a drug dealer named Cheech, and they seem to have an interesting relationship. Cheech also informs him that Joy, the girl who was murdered, and Kyle's long ago ex-girlfriend, is now dating a suit. Bishop revisits the tape of Jake in the taxi from a couple episodes ago and sees that it's the same woman he was with at the restaurant, and her name is Taylor, and she works for NSA's version of Internal Affairs, so Bishop assumes that Jake is in trouble. So then Tony buys some chips for Bish. Yeah, why does he keep calling her that? DiNozzo also tells McGee that Bishop might be in need for some brotherly advice, which... Despite claiming that he hasn't seen her in years, Kyle is seen taking the money that was found on her out of the ATM, so... Dun, dun, dun. Gibbs is hella angry that the guy was lying to him, so he just starts slapping him? Okay. Bishop meets Gibbs in his basement and finally sees one of his boats. One of the happier things that Bishop is finding out about this episode. Bishop asks Gibbs for help, but the last guy that asked Gibbs for help was just slapped across the face, so watch out. Gibbs is like, why are you asking me for marital advice? But we always think of him as just being this guy with a ton of failed marriages, and he does have a bunch of those, but he also had that really great one that one time. Abby reveals to DiNozzo and McGee that Bishop is concerned about Jake at the drop of a feather. Literally. Thank God she wasn't involved in the mission in Truth or Consequences. Gibbs gives Bishop the morning off so she's able to have a conversation with Jake, and he calls her Ellie, and I don't know which confuses me more, Bish or Ellie. Still probably Bish. Jake reveals that he is having an issue with Internal Affairs. Minus the issue. And the internal. Jake's literally just having an affair. Jake tries to explain himself, but that Bish is already halfway out the door. Damn. Bishop reveals what happens to the team, and then a couple minutes later, Jake shows up, and oh my god, Bishop's two older brothers and dad come to her rescue. Like, DiNozzo, McGee, and Gibbs just come to the rescue right away and show Jake out of there immediately. And they're defending Bishop and kind of telling him off, and it's beautiful. Oh my god, it was amazing. So it turns out the state attorney was having an S&M scandal with Joy, so That gives DiNozzo some fun jokes to run with. And then there's the scene of Bishop leaving Jake, and it's a voiceover of the letter she left him, and it shows her leaving for Oklahoma, and they're playing Say Something in the background. It's actually a really, really good moment, and it's tugging at the heart. I can't remember the last time I remember NCIS playing a song that I could hear on the radio and not be surprised to hear it on the radio. So that was interesting. Good episode! Sad, but good. Of course I loved all the family stuff. Like when DiNozzo was walking out with Bishop and he was like, he does know you carry a gun for a living. Like that, I love moments like that so much. I thought a lot of this episode was really sweet when it came to moments like that between Bishop and McGee and DiNozzo and Gibbs, and even Abby too, who's kind of like her sister. I'm interested to see where they take Bishop's relationship with Jake. I'm assuming Jake did have an affair. The promo for next week and the press release for the episode after leads me to believe that he did have an affair, but I'm also wondering if it's just like a cover, like Jake didn't really want to tell Bishop that he really was in trouble, so he thought kind of detaching her with the whole affair thing would be better, and trying to like disinterest her and take her off his case. I'm wondering if it's like a, oh, like this sucks, but I don't want you to still be involved in this, or if it's a literal like, sorry, I'm having an affair. If so, that sucks. If that is the case, I do feel terrible for her. I genuinely do care about Bishop and her well-being. Shocking, I know. And I want to see how she gets through this, and I think we'll see some of that in the next episode. Oh yeah, and the case was good too. That also helps. So I will see you guys for the recap and review of NCIS Season 13, Episode 10, Blood Brothers. Say something, we're apparently giving up on one of the happier aspects of this show.